Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name's Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask everyone now to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave blue through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
America's finest. America's finest. The United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. I want to thank these men for doing this. I want to thank all of our military members worldwide, wherever you might be. May God bless you all. May God bless also our allied military forces, wherever they might be, in their own countries or elsewhere, helping the United States protect the world. May God bless you all. Thank you for your service, and may God bless you so that you return home to your families after your tours of duty end. God bless America. God bless all of us. We're going to need it. We're going to need it. Now, folks, I've been busy on tonight's program most of the day. I have a lot of information to give you. The first thing I want to do tonight is talk about the CyberTruck bombing that happened in Las Vegas on January 1st at approximately 8:30 a.m. in the morning in Las Vegas. Today, the Las Vegas Police, the FBI, and the Clark County Sheriff's Office held a news conference. The sheriff here is named his McKeel. Okay? I'm going to play this last part of the news conference for you, because this details exactly who the driver of the CyberTruck was and what he was doing. Okay? We'll talk about this more about this in just a minute. I want to play this for you so you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, so the question is obviously there's mental health involved in this, as we've already talked about, and how do we quell the others that are similarly situated to him out there in America. And I think Spencer rightly talked about this for a moment, is what you can tell by looking at this, that PTSD from a highly decorated United States currently serving military individual, from what I'm told was 5 tours of combat, obtained some of the highest awards you can get. It's not much different, quite frankly, than the reasoning why we started our wellness bureau here at Metro and taking care of the heart, mind, body, and soul of the people that are out there doing this work, because they're exposed to things, they see things, they hear things, they feel things, and they smell things that most normal people don't have to do. And the heroes that are serving in the military and on the front lines of America's policing are challenged that way. And so I think, we need to really pay attention to those individuals, pay attention to what mental health in America looks like. And I think this is just one more incident that brings that to the forefront of where it is that we are in talking about these types of things. I'll take one more. Sure.
Notice that sheriff talked about the mental health of Mr. Libelsberger. I don't think it had anything to do with his mental health. Let's continue.
Deshaun what? Is that the, so can I tell you why he chose the Cybertruck is the first question? No, not really. I haven't been able to find anything definitive about it. Secondly, is the Sean Ryan podcast, and that's the podcast that I'm referring to. And I'm sorry, there was one more hand over here that, go ahead. Hi. So the question is do we know why he chose the route that he chose? I don't think we can tell you we know why he chose it, but I can tell you that there's some writings in those documents that we're going to release to you that he mentioned going to the border as well as going to the Grand Canyon. And so we continue to look through all of the available evidence to help us answer that question better. And with that, I just...
Okay. The reporter first asked about Matthew Libelsberger health. When the sheriff's office, the FBI, and hazmat poured over this car, they pulled up in front of the Trump Hotel and blew up. They found Mr. Libelsberger ID card. They found his driver's license. They found his passport. They found his military ID. They found all of that. Then the reporter asked about Mr. Libelsberger and where he was headed. They said they didn't want to comment. He mentioned the Grand Canyon. Well, guess what? It goes far beyond that. It goes far beyond that. Also, you heard the mention of the Sean Ryan podcast. I'm going to play a segment of the podcast here for you. I'm not going to show you the video. I'm going to play the audio for you. But the first thing I'm going to show you, and I want you to understand why I'm showing it to you. Mr. Sam Schumacher got an email from Mr. Libelsberger. He says, my inbox has been especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, the government and gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always the world is ending, and I have this information that needs to get to the media. And never know how you're doing, brother. Everything all right? The last part there, try to put things off if anybody else got that email or got hold of that email. These two people did not know each other. They did not know each other. Now, this is just one email to Mr. Sam Shoemake. Okay? There's another more detailed email that I'm going to show you. But I want you to understand this. This story is going to go far. Bill Virgo says the DNA did not match the so-called child. Well, the DNA did match Mr. Littleberger. Okay? Did match. But what I'm going to show you now is far beyond what I ever would have thought would happen. I want everybody to understand that. It's far and above anything you'd ever hear. Okay? This man here is Sam Shoemake. Okay? The man that you just saw this man right here, and I wish I could, right here, this is the man. Okay, this is Ryan. This is Sean Ryan. Okay, I'm sorry, I got his last name mixed up with his first name. This is Sean Ryan. Sam Shoemake was being interviewed by Sean Ryan about this whole event. Sean Ryan got a lot of information as well. And then that's how he came in contact with Sam Shoemake. Sam Shoemake got a lot of email, especially from Matthew Littleberger. Okay? Yes, Matthew Littleberger was a very well decorated Green Beret. He was a major in the Army. He's gotten just about every award that you could get in the Army. Very well decorated. He was very much trusted. But he gave some information out that he needed to get out to the public. Now, I want to go back and tell you what exactly happened here. Sorry about that. Another one of those stupid ads that we get here. This man right here. This paper that you see in his hand is a copy of the emails. And he's going to read the emails to you. He's going to read these emails to you. I need you to stand by for that. Okay? Be aware. Some of this information might have some kind of effect on people. I'm going to warn you that it is very delicate. Okay? I'm going to warn you right now, it's very delicate. But I want to show you what happened here. Again, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government and anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always the world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media. And never know how you're doing. Okay? That was a signal right there. That was very much a signal here. Now, let's go back to that second email. Okay? I'm going to play Sam Shoemate's voice here detailing about what that second email entails.
I'm in a military...
Actually do something.
Yeah, I'm in a military group chat. Buddy, Green Beret, Corey, he says, at Sam. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email. I'm shaking, man. This is nuts.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking about why I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like, normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over the news. And
he has released it to the sheriff over in Clark County and the FBI. If you go back to the news conference that talked about this on KTNV news station in Las Vegas, and it says full presser at the title of it. Full presser, authorities on possible motive, addressing rumors from the CyberTruck bombing. Okay? You find out more about that at that news conference. But now we're going to get into the email.
And I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Sean Ryan, so let me get this to Sean Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew your producer, and we went from there. But
Wow. Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S.
Okay? What is he talking about? He's talking about those drones made by Communist China.
Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID.
Okay, that VBID is that vehicle that he took to the Trump Tower and detonated. Okay? Vehicle B, B-O-M-B. That's what he's talking about.
Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice, and he goes, you said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff, and this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said,
It's different than the kind of...
Hold on a second. I'm editing out one of those stupid commercials.
a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify. Propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFO systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was going to get on Hegs. He was going to try to go talk to Hegseth. He wanted to talk to Hannity. But Mr. Shoemate did not have the telephone numbers for Hegseth, Sean Hannity, or anyone else. That's how this was. Okay? Mr. Matthew Livelsberger, very well trained Army Special Forces major, had all this information. And he feared that Homeland Security and the FBI was tracking him. That's why he drove up in front of the Trump Hotel. He said he was going to try to make it to the Grand Canyon or Mexico. But he was not sure whether Homeland Security and the FBI would let him into Mexico or take him out. That's a lot of information, isn't it? That VBID, vehicle-borne improvised device, improvised explosive device, VIED, okay? Big deal. It was a big deal. Because of his fear of the FBI and Homeland Security silencing him, he took his life. The sheriff made it sound like he had something else going on with him because of his military training and the experiences he went through. Now, after perusing Sean Ryan's show, I don't believe this man had anything wrong with him. I've been pouring over the information literally all day long. The Sean Ryan show, that portion I played for you, came on today. Okay, this is new information. That's why I'm bringing it to you. I've always said that I would bring out emergency information for you, the public, to be able to have, so you might be able to prepare yourself for whatever's going on. Now, Reddy now is in the chat saying they blame depression and PTSD and he took his life. It just seems too fishy. I totally agree. I do not believe it had anything to do with depression or PTSD. Mr. Matthew Livelsberger was a conservative. The FBI today, in that interview, in that press conference, showed pictures and information that showed that he loved President Trump. His wife, on the other hand, hated President Trump and was a fan of Biden and Harris. Now, yes, he left Denver with that CyberTruck. Yes, he used the same credit card with that car company that I'm trying to pick my words carefully. The terrorist in New Orleans. But these two situations had nothing to do with each other. What happened in Las Vegas on New Year's Day had nothing to do with New Orleans at all. Not a thing. And the sheriff in Clark County knows that. The FBI also knows that. I want to show you this because everybody deserves to have answers. And yes, I believe we have a lot of answers. And I also believe that the media is going to cover it up. I also believe the government is going to cover it up. We may get answers, more answers than we have now, once President Trump gets into office. Now, I was fearful today that Mike Johnson, who has been Speaker of the House for the last 2 years, was going to be voted out. And that the Republican-led Congress from the past 2 years was going to vote him out. That did not happen. There was a vote today in the House of Representatives for Speaker of the House. Every one of the Democrats voted for the Democrat minority leader. Every one of them. 215 congressmen voted for the Democrat minority leader. And that's just fine. The minority leader the other day said the Democrats were not going to support Mike Johnson at all, no matter what, and they did not do that. When the votes from the Republicans were counted, and I watched the count purposely, there were 5 congressmen, 5 GOP representatives that said they were not going to support Mike Johnson. 5 representatives said they were not going to support Mike Johnson. they refused to have their votes counted. They remained silent while the House clerk called off their names to get the congressman to say yea or nay for Mike Johnson. They were silent. So Mike Johnson, during the first part of the vote, did not get all the votes necessary to make him Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson went into the House cloakroom to speak with the individuals, to see what he could do to get their vote to make him Speaker of the House. President Trump had said that he wanted Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House to help press forward Trump's agenda. Gradually, one by one, those four representatives, 4 congressmen, finally changed their vote. First they were silent, then they voted for Mike Johnson, one by one. At first the vote was 216 to 215. Mike Johnson needed 218. One by one he got those votes. Mike Johnson is the reigning Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States of America. The Democrat minority leader spoke for a little while and introduced Mike Johnson. The Democrat minority leader said that he was willing to have the Democrats work with Republicans to get President Trump's agenda going. Didn't necessarily say they were going to support it, but they were going to work with the Republicans. Now, what's going on? We have a Speaker of the House. The agenda going forward with President Trump has to be approved. First, something else has to happen. We have to get the House of Representatives and the Senate together on Monday, January 6th, to certify the electoral vote. We still have the House of Representatives and the Senate today who are now controlled by the Republican Party. So we should get the electoral vote certified on Monday. But today is Friday. There's still some wrangling to do. Renee Seppi's saying, is this good or bad? Right now it's good. But again, we need the Senate, the GOP Senate, to ratify and certify the electoral vote for President Trump. President Trump not only won the popular vote, he won the electoral vote. For the first time in 37 years, a president of the United States at his election won the popular vote and the electoral vote. First time in 37 years. So it remains to be seen what is going to happen on Monday. But hopefully with the Republican Congress and Republican Senate, and it's very thin margins here. Very thin margins. That President Trump's electoral vote will be certified. Then we go on to January 20th. This is where I see some stickiness happening. Okay? Remember all those doggone drones flying all over, even up to Washington, D.C.? They will be able to go fly over the Capitol. They're going to be able to fly over the Capitol. And there's not a darn thing that's been done so far. Now, the United States Capitol, the White House, and all the other government buildings in Washington, D.C. are what they call a TFR, temporary flight restriction, regulated airspace by the FAA. But so far, all these drones have been flying anywhere they want to go. Okay? This is where it gets sticky. Again, this is where it gets sticky. Remember this email where Major Libelsberger talked about the drones? Let me go back through here and play the part here that talks about this email.
Have you heard about Rio?
Sorry. Man, I hate these stupid commercials.
Onto the Mexico border, I am sending this.
And we should also get that
I
email
don't have it. I
address.
deleted it.
You deleted it.
He told me to delete it, and I deleted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should also get that email address and see if they sent it in through the website and see if he tried to contact us. Get that to the FBI.
So I'm in a military.
To actually do something.
Yeah, I'm in a military group chat. Buddy, Green Beret, Corey, he says, at Sam. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You was at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email. I'm shaking, man. This is nuts.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking about why I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like,
Okay, he's going to be talking about the drones in just a second.
normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over the news. And then I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Sean Ryan, so let me get this to Sean Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew your producer, and we went from there. But
Wow. You want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are...
Okay, did you hear that? They're using these drones for the same reason that they launched the balloons that went all over Alaska, over every military base in Alaska, and over the military bases throughout this country. And Biden let it happen. Biden let those balloons go, just like he's doing with the drones. As President Trump said 2 weeks ago, the White House knows what's going on, and the military knows what's going on. And he said that he did not understand why the White House and the military was not speaking up to the public, to assuage the fears of the public. President Trump is going to get into office. And it's at that point that I think that President Trump is going to really tell us what's going on. Livelsberger knew about all the drone activity. What we have been seeing with drones, the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast. China in the East Coast. But throughout history, the United States and China have had the capability. The U.S. and China have had this capability. Our operations center location for this activity is below. Now, I did not see that part of the email. Okay? Hartsada says, if he makes it, I'm terrified with these drones. Now, I'm not giving you this information to make anybody terrified. We've all been seeing news reports of the drones. I even played an interview when these drones were flying over New Jersey, and I showed you an interview with the mayor of one of the towns in New Jersey that they were getting heavy drone coverage, and I played the governor's message as well, and also the New York governor, what was going on. Nobody's being honest with the public. Nobody. At all. Now, we need to pay attention to what is happening. I told you last night that Friday is our Preparedness Friday. That's why we're talking about this. This is exactly why we are talking about this. We need to be prepared. Okay? We need to be prepared. Livelsberger was trying to get the information out. And as I showed you with the sheriff's office, they were covering it up. They were trying to make Matthew Livelsberger seem like someone with PTSD and depression. I don't think that was the case at all. He knew what was going on. He wanted to get the message out. He got it all out on the Sean Ryan show. When I heard the name Sean Ryan on that sheriff's press conference, I'm going, what the heck? So I started pounding the pavement, so to speak, pulling up as much information as I possibly could, because I knew that all of you would want answers. I knew all of you deserved answers, and we've been trying to honestly get that to you. Everybody tried to blame Livensberger's truck bombing on terrorism. I don't believe that now it has anything to do with terrorism at all. Livelsberger was trying to get the message out, and now I believe he has gotten it out. The FBI has it, and the Sheriff's Office in Clark County, Nevada have it. What are they going to do with it? What are they going to do with it? That's the next question. Are they going to sit on it? Are they going to try to spin it, as they did at the press conference, to make it sound like Livelsberger was depressed or part of PTSD's scenario? It had nothing to do with that. and has absolutely nothing to do with it. Our law enforcement agencies are well aware of what's going on. I believe the FBI also knows what's going on with these drones. The White House knows, the military knows, and I believe the FBI knows as well. Once Kash Patel, who was nominated by President Trump, gets into the FBI, I think then and only then are we going to get some answers. Delete Funds is here in the chat, says cover stories are SOP. I agree. I totally agree. Canadian Patriot One over in Canada also is a very dear friend of mine. He and I talk all the time. No, I did not talk to him about this story yet. I figured he would probably be in the chat today with us. Canadian Patriot One and I are going to talk about this more significantly. I'm going to follow this story for as far as I can, because I believe all of you deserve answers. Our entire country and our world deserves answers. England, Scandinavia, Italy, Greece, Romania, Czech Republic, Australia, South America, Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, Canada. Everybody deserves answers. And unfortunately, the answers are being covered up. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to do my darndest to make sure all of you get answers. And I would appreciate it if you would pass these answers on to everybody you know. And share this program as far as wide as you possibly can. Because between this show and the Sean Ryan show, I think the answers are going to come out. But not before that. The Sean Ryan show has almost 4 million followers. 4 million subscribers. I'm pushing 7,000. I had 25,000 a year and a half ago before YouTube shut this program down. And I reestablished it. And we're growing again. But YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. So I'm asking all of you to share this program with everybody you know. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this program. It's vital for everybody's safety. I give you information for a reason, so that you're prepared with information so you know how to react and what you need to do to prepare yourself and to protect yourself. Okay? I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been in the emergency preparedness business since I became a cop back in the 80s. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Now, I have more information than this for you. As I said, I've been working on this program literally all day long. I've been pulling as much information as I possibly could get about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest as well. I want to show you what's going on. You need to know what's going on. I promise you that. Now, the USBS has not, as I've said before, they have not been honest with anyone at all. Not a thing. Not a darn thing. They haven't been talking with anybody. I why I pulled information for you tonight. So that you would know what's going on. Because the agencies are covering it up. The agencies are totally covering it up. Just a second, I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get a slide for you here. This is the tremor map from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. This is for today. Look at what they're not showing. They're not showing anything, are they? The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is not showing any earthquakes, tremors, or anything else, either in the Pacific Northwest, Vancouver Island, Washington, Oregon, or Northern California. Nothing. It's as if nothing's going on. Well, guess what? I know for a fact that there are earthquakes literally all over Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. And I'm going to show you those earthquakes tonight. First off, over in Washington, okay? Over in Washington. Look what we're seeing here. This is a seismogram from Washington. Okay? Arctic. Arctic is the name of the seismogram. Okay? Look what it's showing. This is in northern Washington along the coast. Look what we're seeing here. This is last night. This is yesterday afternoon at 4 p.m. last night. The thicker lines show magma going towards volcanoes. The thinner lines, less magma flowing through magma channels headed for volcanoes. Look at the earthquakes here. Yes, you see these little tiny blips here? Those are tremors. The larger vertical lines are tremors and earthquakes. For example, on the blue line, on this blue line at the top left here, over on the far left it's 5:30 p.m., 1730. It says 1700 on the black line here. It says 17 over on the top left-hand corner. That's 5 p.m. The line just above that should be below the black line. It's not for whatever reason. That should be 5:15 on the red line. We go over to that red line, down to the right on that red line, we see tremors. And over on the middle part of this red line here, we're seeing a 2.7 minor earthquake. To the right of that is a 2.2 minor earthquake. Then we see some tremors after that. And over to the right, you see two longer vertical lines. Those vertical lines are earthquakes. They are earthquakes. The longest red vertical line here is again a 2.5 magnitude earthquake. We go back over here to the left. The first two vertical lines are tremors. Then we come to a very long line here. Not a very long line, but a pretty good sized vertical long line. That is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Yes, we're seeing a lot of tremors here, but we are also seeing good-sized earthquakes along the coast of Washington. Okay? Over at 0900, it should be on the black line. But right next to 09, which is 9 a.m. today, that red line goes over to the right, doesn't it? Over here. This would be 9:23 a.m. 9:23 a.m. It's a 2.9 magnitude earthquake, just short of being a 3.0 small earthquake. Again, you're not going to find these earthquakes on the USGS chart, on their map. It's not going to happen. Why not? Why are they not being honest with us, showing us what's going on? And on the black line beneath the red line, the black line here is 9:08 a.m. this morning. There's another vertical line here. Well, guess what? That again is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Minor earthquake. And all the rest of these are tremors. All the rest of these are tremors. Let me show you another seismogram. Okay? Let me show you where Arctic is located. Okay? This is the map. This is where that seismograph is located. Okay? Along the 101 highway here in Washington State. Okay? Up here at the top, we see Cosmonopolis. We see Morisano. Morisano. I'm going to show you a seismogram from there in just a minute. This area here is where that seismograph I just got through showing you is, where it's located. Just so you know. I want you to know exactly what we know and why. You need to be fully aware of what's going on. Now, let's go over to Central Park Elementary School over there in Washington. The seismogram I'm showing you is from Central Park Elementary School there in Washington. Okay? C Park, Central Park, NWS.gov, Washington. Okay? What are we seeing here? At the top, most of these are nothing but tremors. Most of these seismic events are tremors. However, yesterday evening, after 7 p.m., 1900 over on the left-hand side, it says 19, that's 1900 hours, military time, 7 p.m. We come over where this longest black line is. Guess what? Now we have a 2.5, 2.6 magnitude earthquake. Is it on the USGS map? Heck no. They're not even showing the tremors here at all. Nothing. Then we go down to 2000 hours on the left-hand side, shows 20 there. On the black line, just to the right of that, We go almost all the way to the end on the right-hand side. All of a sudden, we are at 8:12 p.m. last night. A 2.1, 2.2 earthquake. It's not being shown on the USGS map. Nothing's there. Let's move farther down here. Oh my gosh. After 5 a.m. this morning. Look at all these lines here. We don't show individual lines here. The colors are covering them up. Why? These thicker lines, red, black, and blue. These thicker lines here show magma headed towards volcanoes. A lot of magma headed towards volcanoes. The thinner lines, less magma. The thinner lines, more magma. It's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. From 5 a.m. until 1 p.m. this afternoon on the bottom black line. This shows an awful lot of magma headed for the volcanoes. Whether this is headed for Mount Rainier or Glacier Peak, it's unknown. We don't know where these magma channels are located. But those of you living in Washington should be asking some questions. Why are they not showing them to us? I've been very honest with everybody on this channel. This is Warrenton, Oregon here. Warrenton, Oregon here. This happens to be the Clatsop County Sheriff's Office in Oregon. That's where this seismogram is. Up at the top of that, it starts off at 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. 1600 hours is 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. We see tremors. We see a lot of tremors here. A lot of tremors. And towards the bottom of this seismogram, you see thicker lines. And then the thicker lines go away and get thinner again. Again, magma pulse activity. Magma pulse activity. Magma pulsing through the ground, through the magma chambers, underneath the ground. Look at all these tremors here. But what I want you to look at is over on the bottom red line here this afternoon. This would be approximately 1:23 p.m. this afternoon. What we're seeing here is a 3.0 small earthquake. A 3.0 small earthquake. And the USGS is showing nothing. Hurricane Heather says that's turned down a lot. Yeah, it surely is. The seismologist at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network at the University of Washington turned these seismographs down. They turn them down. Again, it's not just the USGS not wanting us to know what's going on. The seismologists are told to turn the seismographs down to make sure we're not aware of exactly what's going on. This is where the Clatsop County Sheriff's Office is located. Okay? You see Bruceport, Oregon there? See Toki Land up towards the top? That is Walapa Harbor Golf Course. Walapa Harbor Golf Course, and guess what? I have the seismograph for that as well. Okay? I want to make sure you understand where these seismographs are located. These are coastal, for the most part, seismographs along the coast. There's a reason I showed you the tremor map at the beginning of this part of the broadcast, because the agency shows no tremors. Already I've showed you probably 100 plus tremors. Heaven forbid they want to show them to us. Let's look at Lumi, Hidalgo Island, Washington. Look at all these tremors here. And then look at the bottom of this seismogram here. We're having full-blown earthquakes here. The top, from 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon up at the top, until after 12 noon today. Nothing but tremors. There's probably close to 75, 100 tremors right here. Right here. This is Hidalgo Island, Washington. Northern Washington. Look at these earthquakes here. Okay? That red line here that you see where that big earthquake is after 1:23 p.m. This is the second earthquake at 1:23 p.m. that they're not showing on the seismic map from USGS. Why not? This is at least a 3.03.2 earthquake this afternoon along the upper coastline in Washington State. Then over here on the left-hand side, on the black line, the red line is showing a thick red line. Magma. Magma being detected on the seismogram. Magma headed for a volcano. On the black line, the magma continues. That's 1 p.m. For over 2.5 minutes, there's a lot of magma. Then the magma dissipates. And we go over to just after 1:05 p.m. We have a 1.92.0 earthquake. 1.92.0 earthquake. Whether they call it a tremor, whether they call it a 2.0 earthquake, it's immaterial. They're not reporting it. They're not reporting it. Let me show you where Hidalgo Island is. Right there. That's Hidalgo Island. For those of you that live in Washington State. Okay? There's Whidbey Island there to the bottom, below that. We have people that watch this program that live on Whidbey Island. They felt this small earthquake today. The USGS doesn't even show. Interesting enough. How about Nakata, Washington? Look at this. This is the Washington Field or Washington Fish and Wildlife Office. Bunch of tremors. And yet, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network shows no tremors on the tremor map. Why not? This particular seismogram here is showing at least 100 tremors. I stopped counting after I got to 100. There are over 100 tremors here on this particular tremor map. Or not tremor map, I'm sorry, seismogram. Why are they not showing those on the tremor map? In the past, they've shown 100 tremors, 200, 300, even up to 800 tremors on the tremor map. North and south, going all the way down to Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen, California. They're definitely not showing them, are they? Not at all. How about Grays Harbor, Washington? Look at this. Look at all these tremors and earthquakes. Look at all these tremors and earthquakes here. Okay, I showed you one seismogram from Arctic. Okay, Grays Harbor, Washington. This happens to be the HHH or HHN channel. What is that? This particular channel is supposed to also show us very low frequency waves caused by magma. At the bottom, we don't see the waves, but we see earthquakes. We see tremors and earthquakes here. The longer lines here on this seismogram are minor earthquakes. There's nothing large here on this seismogram. Not at all. But we're seeing minor earthquakes and tremors here at Grays Harbor, Washington. Let's continue here. I want to show you the other seismogram coming from the same seismograph at Grays Harbor. This is the main one here. Look at these earthquakes and tremors here at Grays Harbor. They don't want us to see it, do they? How about Guaymas Island, Washington? Look at this. We've seen these kind of seismograms before. Look at all this activity. Side to side and top to bottom. Nothing but tremors here. I don't believe we have any full-blown earthquakes. This is completely color saturated. Constant continuing tremors shaking this area. And yet, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network shows nothing. Guaymas Island, Washington. How about Loomy Island? Look at this. Tremors and one minor earthquake here. One minor earthquake here. This earthquake happened after let's look here. At approximately 7:05 this morning. a 2.42.5 earthquake. Again, the thicker lines show more magma, the thinner lines, less magma here. Probably in this case, headed for Mount Rainier. Interesting, huh? We have tremors and we have earthquakes here. Okay? It's incredible what they're not showing us or not telling us. Heaven forbid. Now, I want to show you another side here. As I said before, I have a seismogram coming from Montesano, Washington, right here. I showed you on the map where Montesano, Washington is. Look what's happening here. Yes, we have tremors all over the place. But from 10 p.m. on, we had a lot of lava or magma coming across here. A lot of magma coming across through the magma channel. Underneath the ocean, coming from the Pacific, headed eastbound to one of the volcanoes. It's causing tremor activity, isn't it? The thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma channel, going through the magma channel. And guess what it's doing? It's fracturing rock as it's going through the magma channel. Fracturing rock causing earth movement, earthquakes. That's what we're seeing here. That's what we're seeing here. After midnight last night, okay, and I'm talking basically about the beginning of this seismic event with tremors and magma on the red line here. This red line being 1:15 this morning. (1:03 this morning. Enough magma going through this magma channel here at Montesano, Washington, to cause a 2.0 earthquake. Even a 2.3 earthquake, 2.0, 2.3 earthquake. Several of them. Caused by magma going through magma channels here, headed for volcanoes. Let's go back and take a look at the map. Okay, you see Aberdeen Gardens here. You see Wishcan. This is where the Montesano seismograph is located. Let's keep going. I'm going over to the NEMA location, the Pacific County, Washington site. NEMA. Yes, I'm going to make this seismogram a little smaller so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay? This is the HHN channel. Okay? This shows very low frequency waves here. The very low frequency waves here are caused by magma. magma going through magma channels. Okay? Look at all that magma cruising across magma channels underground, beneath the earth, headed for the volcanoes. Yeah, Richard Smith says it looks like those pictures doctors show you. Yeah. These are very low frequency waves here. Okay? Magma headed for the volcanoes. Isn't that interesting? This is at the shoreline here. Let me show you where it's at. This is where that seismograph is located, right here. Pacific County, Washington. Okay? Magma channels running through the ground here. You see the Wappa National Wildlife Refuge? You see Long Island there? Where else are we seen here? Ocean View, Sea View, Fort Canby. Interesting. Magma flowing through underground magma channels here. And Pacific County. It doesn't stop, does it? Not at all. How about Olga Orcas Island? Look at this, guys. We're not just seeing tremors here. We are not just seeing tremors. Again, this is the full seismogram. Olga Orcas Island. This is the main seismogram. ENZ. We're seeing tremors and we're also seeing earthquakes here. What you're seeing here are minor earthquakes here on that blue line. That blue line is 5 p.m., 5:10 p.m., or 5, excuse me. It's 5:40 p.m. last night. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake at 5:40 p.m. last night. Down here on this second blue line here. Over on the left-hand side, it would be 7:30. Right here, this is 7:03 p.m. I'm sorry, 7:33 p.m. 7:33 p.m. These appear to be 2.5 magnitude earthquakes, back to back. These earthquakes are thick, indicating a time period of maybe 10 seconds of shaking. 2.5 earthquakes can't be felt, except for very sensitive people. But 10 seconds worth of minor shaking here. It doesn't stop. But again, none of these tremors and earthquakes are being shown on the USGS map today. Nothing. Look at all these tremors here, late morning and early afternoon here. Look at that. 7 a.m. over on the left-hand side. Tremors. Tremors. Tremors and earthquakes after 8 a.m. 9 a.m. this morning. 10 a.m. this morning. Look at all these earthquakes and tremors here. And yet, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network isn't showing them on the tremor map, and the USGS is not showing these either. Let me show you the map where this is located. right there. Orcas Island here. Moran State Park. You see Loomy Island over there on the right-hand side at the top? Are you getting a good feel about where these seismographs are located? Where these earthquakes are? Folks, these are in the northwestern side of Washington State. We're seeing tremors. We're seeing tremors. We're seeing earthquakes. And on the tremor maps, usually we see dozens, if not a lot more than that, dozens of tremors being located. But again, they're not saying a word about it. Not one word about it. Now, why am I detailing this so heavy? Why am I working on this? Because, folks, these tremors usually are signs of seismic energy being released prior to the cascade or the Cascadian megathrust earthquake. Energy being released millimeter by millimeter, centimeter by centimeter. The Pacific Plate and the Juan de Fuca Plate subducting under the North American continent. That is what is causing this seismic activity. The Juan de Fuca Plate and the Pacific Plate subducting underneath the landmass, underneath Washington State and Oregon. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? I want to show you the Port of Willapa Harbor. I showed the map to you a few minutes ago. Okay, this is Toke, T-O-K-E. That's the name of the seismograph. Willapa Harbor. Look at the tremors here. None of these tremors are being located on the tremor map. They're, again, not on the USGS map either. Why not? This is showing the slow slip of the plate moving. The plate moves every day. The plate moves every day. These earthquakes and tremors are happening every day. Just like I've showed you in Southern California, just like I've shown you on the New Madrid Fault, just like I've shown you earthquakes on the East Coast. These earthquakes are happening every day, without fail. Do we understand why and what's going on? Are we even cognizant of what is happening in our own area? Are we allowing the agency to lie to us by omitting information? Why am I showing you all this information? The Cascadian megathrust earthquake is going to happen. The Cascadian megathrust earthquake is going to happen. What I am showing you is information to get it through your head of what's going on. That may sound very harsh, but our agencies run by our government, state, local, and federal, are not being honest with us in the least little bit. Let me show you the seismogram coming from the South Washington. Look at this. Yes, we are seeing tremors here, but we are also seeing earthquakes as well. 2.3, 2.4, possibly even 2.5 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. This entire seismogram here is covered with color because there's so much activity here. Richard Smith is like a snail heading for the edge of a cliff and can't see what's going to happen when it gets there. That's pretty much what we are. You and I are like we're on an edge of a cliff. We don't have any clue what's going on because they are not showing us this information. This ought to be on the headlines. This should be on the headlines. Look at all this information here, top to bottom, from yesterday afternoon on. This happens every day. It doesn't get much less than this. You can go over the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and pull this information up for yourself. This is every day. This is every day. Let me give you one more here. This is a law enforcement unit for the Washington Department of Fish and Game. That's where this seismograph is located. Look at the tremors happening here. Here you're seeing again magma traversing underneath the ground here. Thicker lines indicating more magma, thinner lines, less magma. Magma pulse signals here. Okay? And what's it causing? It's causing earthquakes, rock fracturing. Rock fracturing at these locations. That's what you're seeing. Look down at the bottom here. Look down at the bottom here. Let me enlarge it so you can see it. Okay? 1:15 this afternoon on this red line. This is at least a 2.0, 2.2 minor earthquake. No, it's not big. It's not big, but it's significant. The ground is moving here. The ground is moving here, guys. They can't deny it because the information's there. You got to find it. Anybody can find this information. It's public information. Now, I've been putting out this information for quite some time. Quite a long time. When I put out information 3 years ago, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and the USGS found out. And they started limiting the information. But I've held back. I've held back. I've talked about it. When possible, I've shown you the information. I don't want the agencies to get to the point where they cover it up. Yes, they do cover up the information. They absolutely do cover up the information. But I'm telling you guys, I'm showing you this information because, again, the tremor map shows nothing. Not a thing. Let's go up to Mount Baker in Washington State. The volcano. Let me show you the Shuxon Ski Resort on Mount Baker. The northwestern part of Mount Baker, the ski resort. This is a seismogram, ENZ. The Shuxon seismograph is a multi-channel seismograph. I'm going to show you one more seismogram here showing you the magma coming into the magma chamber here at this volcano. On this particular one, you're seeing thicker lines here indicating more magma here. Up here at the top, this would be 4:30 in the afternoon, yesterday afternoon on the blue line. The vertical lines here are here because the magma is fracturing rock inside Mount Baker. Tremors here. Tremors caused by rock fracturing inside Mount Baker, the volcano. Then we have thinner lines where less magma is coming into the magma chamber here at the volcano. Then we have thicker lines. Okay? Let's go down here to 5 a.m. this morning on the black line here. We have a string of earthquakes here. More magma coming into the magma chamber here causing these earthquakes. It starts off with tremors. The more magma coming in under pressure causing larger and larger earthquakes. Okay? Over here near the center here, you see that longer vertical line. That's a 2.93.0 earthquake. Small earthquake. Before that, it's minor earthquakes. The longest line before that is like a 2.8 minor earthquake. But you see 2.0s, you see 2.4, 2.5, you see 2.6, and then you see the 2.93.0, small earthquake. Then it backs off. You see less magma, and all you see are tremors for a while, for about a minute and a half. Then all of a sudden it builds up to minor earthquakes again. 2.0, 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes. Then the magma gets less and it builds up again. You see tremors, then you see a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake over here on the right. Then you see a 2.7 earthquake after that.
Class moderate, magnitude 5.8, depth 6.2 miles, 8 minutes ago.
I didn't catch where that happened, guys. Excuse me just a second. Let me look at that. That was Ethiopia. That was Ethiopia. That was a large 5.8 earthquake in Ethiopia. We've been seeing 4.5s, 4.7s. Now a large, very large 5.8 earthquake hit Ethiopia just now. That's big time. That's big time. Okay, this is Mount Baker volcano just south of the Canadian border in Washington State. Let me show you the magma coming into the magma channel at Mount Baker, right here. Okay? You're seeing a lot of magma here at the beginning, last night. But we don't see that many earthquakes. You see the thicker lines showing, indicating more magma on that first seismogram. On this one, you see a lot of vertical, a lot of wavy lines here. These are very low frequency waves, radio waves caused by magma coming into the volcano under pressure. That's why we had earthquakes, rock fracturing caused by all that magma, and it's coming in under pressure into the volcano, causing earthquakes. Okay? Then, we come in here just before 5 a.m. Just before 5 a.m. and in after 5 and 5:30 this morning. Look at the wavy lines here. Again, we're seeing some earthquake activity even on this seismogram. But we've seen a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber on this seismogram, don't we? Under pressure. That's why I show these seismograms here. Mount Baker. Mount Baker's also been steaming. Mount Baker's also been steaming. Let's go down here to Glacier Peak. Right now, Glacier Peak has one seismograph. Last year, we were told that scientists were going to put up 5 more seismographs on Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak is a verified volcano. It's been rumbling. This information here, taken from the Glacier Peak seismograph, shows a lot of activity. A ton of it. This is the most activity we've seen at Glacier Peak in several years. Yes, we've seen 2.5, 3.0, and even 3.5 earthquakes happening at Glacier Peak. Look what's happening at the bottom of this seismogram. Constant, consistent tremors. Constant, consistent tremors here at Glacier Peak. From 4 p.m. yesterday, all throughout the day today. And this afternoon. Okay? From about 9:30 to 10 a.m. today. These were 9.3, excuse me, not 9.3, I'm sorry. These were 1.2 to 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. For hours. For hours, guys. 4 to 5 hours worth of tremor activity. Back to back, top to bottom here. Constant color here. At a volcano. Joe, I'm not talking about a magnetic pole reversal right now. We're talking about volcanoes. I know we're going through a pole reversal, but it's not a complete pole reversal yet. Nobody's seen it yet. Nobody's seen it. Stay with me here. Stay with me here. Okay? What I'm showing you here right now has nothing to do with magnetic pole reversal. This is volcanic activity. This has to do with volcanic activity here. That's Glacier Peak. Let's go further down the food chain here. Let's go over to Mount Rainier. Right now, there is only one seismogram available showing us real activity at Mount Rainier. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has turned off all the other seismograms. Or they've doctored them. Or they've doctored them. This is Mount Rainier Emerald Ridge. Okay? This particular seismogram is the HHZ seismogram. The other seismograms are worthless. Totally worthless. Because the agencies doctored the seismogram. The agencies doctored this seismogram as well. It's showing us tiny zigzag lines here. Tiny zigzag lines do not normally show on seismograms. Never. They're solid lines, not zigzag lines, meaning the seismologist played with the seismograph. The seismograph was played with. But we are also showing tremor activity here. And we also are looking at an earthquake after 5 a.m. this morning. Over here in the center of the seismograph, we're seeing a 3.4 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. A 3.4 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier is also steaming. But again, they have doctored the seismograph so we can hardly see anything going on. They played with it. Typically, the thicker lines show more magma coming into the magma chamber of the volcano. You can hardly tell what's going on with this particular seismograph, yet this is the only decent seismograph we can find. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is playing games with us. That's Mount Rainier. Let's go look at Mount St. Helens now. Okay? I want to go over to Sugar Bowl on Mount St. Helens. Again, we're seeing these zigzag lines. They're playing games with us. SUG-BHZ, Sugar Bowl BHZ seismograph. Look what we're seeing here. Yeah, we've got those same old zigzag lines here. A decent seismogram won't show that. However, we are seeing thicker lines here as well. Magma coming into the magma chamber at Mount St. Helens, aren't we? We are also seeing some earthquakes here as well. After 10:30 p.m. last night, about 10:32 p.m. last night, we see a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake on the blue line on the left-hand side, near the top. Look at these other lines here at Mount St. Helens. Yes, we see some thicker lines here indicating magma coming into the magma chamber at Mount St. Helens. We see that happening here. We're also seeing some minor earthquake activity here, especially down here near the bottom, this seismogram. 2.3, 2.4 activity. And down on the bottom blue line here in the center, probably 2.0 activity. But that's not all, folks, there's more. Mount St. Helens always has activity. Always. Always. Count on it. Let's go over to the September lobe seismogram. Okay? This is the BDF-CC01 seismogram. SCP September lobe. BDF-CC01 is showing us the VLF waves here. The very low frequency waves caused by magma coming into the Mount St. Helens volcano. Wild, huh? But it really gets wild after 4 a.m. this morning. Between 4 a.m. and 10:30 this morning. Look at all that magma. We should be seeing good-sized earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens. That other seismogram didn't show it, did they? That's because they doctored the seismogram. They doctored it. They erased the activity. You saw the zigzag lines? That's another indication of them showing nothing but crap. It's called abstract. Interfering with the seismogram is called abstract. Okay? I'm real. Mount St. Helens is very active. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are getting ready to go. You need to be aware of it. They are getting ready to go. let's go south to Mount Hood. Okay? There are a few seismograms I want to show you at Mount Hood. First one I want to show you is north of Mount Hood. It's at Barrett Spur. This is also the HHN channel. Barrett Spur, BRSP, Barrett Spur, BHE. Okay? You see the vertical waves here. Very low frequency wave, VLF waves. Barrett Spur is north of Mount St. Helens. Okay? I'm sorry, north of Mount Hood. Barrett Spur is north of Mount Hood. And we're seeing all these vertical lines here, these VLF waves. Barrett Spur was its own volcano at one time. And this proves that there's magma coming into that volcano. No, it does not have a crater. It doesn't even have a mountain necessarily. It's all part of Mount Hood. It's all part of Mount Hood. Over the years, since Barrett Spur erupted, the water over the planet Earth and the winds and rain and everything else going on have weathered the volcanic rock. You can't see a crater, you can't see a mountain, but you can see the basaltic rock at Barrett Spur on the ground. A lot of volcanic rock. The magma is still coming into the magma chamber here. Okay? Anybody in this area is also feeling movement under their feet. They have to. They have to. Now, I want to show you Yoakum Ridge out to the northeast side of Mount Hood. Again, they're doctoring the seismogram here. The top of this seismogram is showing the most activity. Okay? From 4 o'clock until just after 7:30 p.m. Okay? The thicker the lines here show more magma coming into the volcano. And you're seeing tremors here. The vertical lines here. Tremors caused by the magma coming into the volcanic chamber, fracturing the rock. And then we look down here throughout the seismogram. We're seeing some tremors here, aren't we? After 11 a.m. or 11:01 a.m. this morning, we're also seeing a 2.5, 2.6 earthquake. Then at the bottom, we're seeing more magma here. And we're seeing tremors on the horizontal lines. We're seeing vertical tremors here. Okay? They're trying to disguise it. They're trying to hide it. But we're seeing the information here. That's Yoakum Ridge, Mount Hood. Let's go over to the south side of Mount Hood. Up about midway up the side of the volcano, there's a ski lift called Palmer Lift. This is a USGS seismogram. They started recording information after 10 p.m. last night on this seismogram. Between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., we're seeing a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. The thicker lines, more magma coming into the magma chamber. Magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. Then it dies out. This commonly happens during the night. The seismologists either turn the seismograph down or they turn it off. In this case, he turned it way down because we're also seeing some tremors building up. The magma coming into the magma channel can sometimes override the electronic turndown of the machine. Electronic turndown of the seismograph. I believe that's what we're seeing. Then in this case, after 8 a.m., they turn it up and allow the seismograph to start recording magma movement. So after 9 a.m., we're seeing minor magma coming into the magma chamber, a little bit of magma. Then the lines get thicker and they get thinner again. Magma pulse signals here. Then they turn down the seismograph again, They turn down the seismograph again. We hardly see any activity between 9:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. this afternoon. What happens? Look at the activity after 12:30 on the blue line to the right. There's a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber, isn't there? A lot of magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano, causing earthquakes and tremors. We're seeing 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 tremors here. Over on the right side, and this is happening right before about 12:44 p.m. this afternoon. 2.0 earthquake. Then on the dark blue line, which is B1 p.m., we're still seeing some tremor activity. Then after that, on the light blue line, which on the left-hand side would be 1:30 p.m. Over here in the center of the seismogram, we're seeing tremor activity here. A lot of tremor activity. The thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma chamber here at this volcano. It's moving. Mount Hood is moving. You see these vertical lines going through the horizontal lines. These are tremors caused by rock fracturing from the magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. This is Palmer Lift. It's a ski resort on the south side of Mount Hood, midway up Mount Hood. You see tremors here, don't you? Then what happens after 5 p.m. today? Look at that. Look at that. More and more magma pouring into this volcano. More and more magma pouring into this volcano. Let's go to the south bottom side of the volcano, the south lower side of Mount Hood. I'm talking about Timberline. Timberline. There is a seismograph at government camp called Timberline. Again, this is a USGS seismograph. You don't see this on the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. They hardly show anything because they're hiding the information. But here, at least on the USGS seismograph, we're seeing some tremors here. Tremors caused by magma coming into Mount Hood. Look at that. Look at this. 12:30 this morning. Magma coming into Mount Hood. Not a lot, but there's an increase and then it goes back down again. That's what we're seeing here. Then as we move throughout the morning, this morning, we see a small increase in magma and goes back down. Magma pulse signals. Then this afternoon after 2:30. After 2:30 on the blue line, you see a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake caused by magma coming into the magma chamber of Mount Hood. Okay? The rest of this is all magma pulse signals here, and tremors caused by the magma coming into the volcano here at Mount Hood. Okay? Does anybody have questions about Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Hood? Charlene is talking about more magma. Yes. Oh, yeah. More and more magma is coming into these magma chambers here at the volcanoes. Mount Hood, less than Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. At least for right now. At least for right now. By the way, Charlene sent us a Christmas card that we got in the mail yesterday, and I accidentally left it in the car. I want to show you that. Charlene, thank you for the Christmas card. It was beautiful, and Carol and I loved it. Inside the Christmas card, Andrea sent us a Christmas card. It was really cool. I don't know why I thought Charlene, but it was Andrea that sent us a Christmas card. It was really cool. I don't see Andrea here in the chat today, but we've seen Andrea here in past programs. I want to thank Andrea for that cool Christmas card. We appreciate it. Hurricane Heather says they turn these seismographs down a lot. You're right. They do. They do not want us to know about it. They want to keep us in the dark. So when these earthquakes happen, when the volcanoes erupt, we're going to be surprised saying, what the heck happened and why? I want to show you a place in Oregon called Criterion Ridge. This is a seismogram from the U.S., or not U.S., this is a seismogram from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network coming from Criterion Ridge. Up at the top, all we have are tremors here. But towards the bottom of this seismogram today, look at all these tremors and earthquakes. Tremors and earthquakes. Okay? Let me enlarge this, and I'll raise it up up here in the window here so you can see it. Okay? We had some 2.0 earthquakes happen after 10 a.m. this morning. Then we had a bunch more tremors. Then at about 1:19 p.m. this afternoon, on the red line, we have a 2.0 earthquake. A 2.0 earthquake. Over here on this black line would be 1 p.m. on the left-hand side. We have here a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake at 1:06 p.m. this afternoon. 2.8 minor earthquake at 1:06 this afternoon. Look at all these tremors. The tremors just don't happen out at the edge of the ocean. It's not just the Juan de Fuca plate and the Pacific plate subducting. In this case, it's magma coming into the magma chamber here at this particular volcano. Criterion Ridge was a volcano. Criterion Ridge was a volcano, guys. Let me show you the area. One of our friends of the Emergency Management Associates went there with her husband and took these pictures back in 2021, 2022. That's Criterion Ridge. This is also Criterion Ridge here. Look at this volcanic rock. It looks like tree trunks. This is volcanic rock sticking up out of the ground. This is how it looks. Okay? The lava comes flowing out, and then the ground lifts it up. After the magma cools into hard lava, okay, beneath the ground moves and lifts these pieces of lava up in the air. Okay? They look like tree trunks, and this is lava. This is lava rock. And you can see what appears to be a Navy control tower. I don't believe it's a control tower by the Navy, but I believe it's a Navy communications outpost here at Criterion Ridge in Oregon. Let me show you another one. This is Criterion Ridge. Look at this. Look at the massive volcanic rock here. Look at that massive volcanic rock, guys. Let me try to find, there it is. I want to reduce the size of this slide here so you can see what we're talking about here. This is all lava rock, guys. This is all lava rock here at Criterion Ridge. The volcano erupted hundreds of years ago. Then the lava cooled and left the lava rock in the air here. Ready Now is saying, is that from the caldera? Yes. The caldera hardened. Now all you see here are weeds and small trees growing up through the rock, and a lot of dirt. Yes, Charlene, a monolith of lava rock. That's exactly where it's at. It's huge. It's huge. There's huge beauty in the starkness of this monolith, basically. There's stark beauty in this. This is what happened in Oregon, guys. It wasn't just Mount Rainier. It just wasn't Mount St. Helens. It just wasn't Glacier Peak or Mount Baker or Mount Hood. All these other volcanoes that we don't normally talk about have happened. And occasionally we need to bring this out to show you what happened here. Like I said, I got this photograph from one of our friends here that sent it to me. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Do you have any questions for me? Yes, Kathy, it is amazing information. It really is. But this is what we're seeing here in Washington and Oregon. Yes, we are going to have a huge earthquake. A huge earthquake along the coastline. And it's going to be ever devastating for the people in that area. 13 million people live in that area. 13 million people live in that area. And that seismic energy, the 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, is going to be felt all across the entire continent. Canada and the United States. all the way down to Mexico and all the way up north to Alaska. And when that earthquake happens again, there's going to be a tsunami. There's going to be damage on the west coast of North America and Canada, US and Canada, and the seismic wave, the tsunami, is going to go all across the Pacific Ocean, all the way to Kamchatka, Russia, all the way to Japan, the Hawaiian Islands, all the way through Indonesia, down into Tonga and Fiji. That's going to happen. Charlene is asking, why do we assume so many volcanic fields are dormant? When we consider the plates are moving, yeah, you're right. As I said, some scientists want us to believe they're dormant. Yet I just got through showing you seismograms showing you the activity. The magma from way down in the South Pacific at the magma plume is recharging all the volcanoes worldwide. Recharging all the volcanoes worldwide. That is exactly what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. Now, I'm going to take this down temporarily. I want to bring up the USGS map here. Now you might ask me why I'm bringing it up. I want to go over to Africa. We just had a very, very large earthquake happen in Africa, in Ethiopia right here. This was a 5.8 earthquake, and guess what? USBS is now showing this downgraded to a 5.5. They downgraded a 5.8 earthquake to a 5.5. This red one, no, I'm sorry, this is a 5.8 right here. They didn't downgrade it at all. This is a 5.8 that just happened while we've been on the air. This 5.5 right here happened at 12:01 p.m. today. This 5.8 earthquake happened at just before 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Like I said, we've been having 4.5 and 4.7s here. This is a 5.2 that happened at 9:27 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time. This is a huge fault zone. This is a huge fault zone. Scientists believe this is a rift zone. They believe this is a rift zone that's coming apart, just like the Atlantic plate is expanding from the middle of the Atlantic plate. Africa is expanding right here. This is why we're getting all these earthquakes now. It's coming apart. It's coming apart. Hurricane Heather says she posted a video from GeoHub about that volcano. Hurricane Heather, I'm going to take a look at that, and maybe I'll come back on the air later tonight or tomorrow and show that video to you, to all of you. You ought to see it. Okay? Heather says there are evacuation orders given for Fentali volcano. Fentali volcano down there in Ethiopia. Unreal. Ray now says, I think that area is going to flood terribly. Probably. Right now there's no water to flood it. Right now there's no water to flood, but once that rift really opens up, it could open up to the Atlantic Ocean, and that area could flood. You're right. Hurricane Heather says it looked important. Yes, I believe it's important. If GeoHub put it out on YouTube, it's important. So yes, I'll look it over and I'll put it out on my next video. Kathy Berryman is here in the chat saying, so many people are completely clueless. I'm thankful for finding Ron's channel and him. Yes, a lot of people are clueless, but this is what they want us to believe. This is exactly what they want us to believe, that nothing's going to happen. That nothing is happening. They want us to believe that nothing's going to happen. Ethiopia is very sparsely populated. Very, very sparsely populated. Let's go back to the back seismology study page here. See if it'll open up for us. Nope, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Let me do that on my own map here. Let me open up the back seismology study page for that earthquake. I will bet you it's not showing but a handful of people feeling that earthquake. Only 99 people have felt that earthquake. Only 100 people felt that earthquake. That area is very sparsely populated. But because that was such a large earthquake, it was felt over a larger area. It was very much felt over a larger area. Okay? But that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Do you guys have any more questions for me? I'm very happy to show you this information because I believe everyone should know about it. When I started this channel, I believed that this was only going to be a U.S. audience. It's not. I have found out that this is a worldwide audience. This is a worldwide audience. People from around the world follow us here on this channel. And I'm now thankful that we just don't talk about seismic events here in the United States, but literally all around the world. I'm thankful for all our mods. Very thankful for all our mods. One of my dearest friends from the east of England, I'm not even sure he's awake right now. It's in the very early hours of Saturday morning in England. Demon Catman. He's a very good friend of mine. I would have not known him had he not found us. And I was more than happy. Demon Catman is here. Dean, thank you for being here. Yes, Geology Hub is here on YouTube. For those of you that have YouTube and are able to see our channel and others, check out the video on GeoHub and we will put it out on our channel sometime in the next 12 hours. I promise you that. Kathy Berryman says cognitive dissonance. That's exactly what it is. The majority of the people are in a dreamland of sorts. Literal dreamland. They honestly have no clue what's going on around them. Now, I just saw 2 earthquakes over in the New Madrid seismic zone. This earthquake is in Missouri, Howardville, Missouri. This is a minor 2.2 earthquake, 7.5 miles deep. This is a 3.0 earthquake here in Pangsburn, Arkansas. Pangsburn, Arkansas. Both of these earthquakes are on the New Madrid Fault, the center of the New Madrid Fault here. Over in southern Texas, Falls City, Texas, we have another 3.0 earthquake. And over in the southern Cascadia subduction zone, we have more aftershocks from a 7.2, 7.4 earthquake that hit here 3 weeks ago. Right here on the Gorda Escarpment. This is a 3.6 small earthquake, aftershock. This is a 3.0 aftershock. This is a 3.2 aftershock. And this earthquake on the North San Andreas Fault is a 2.3 aftershock in the southern part of the Cascadia subduction zone. The southern part of the Cascadia subduction zone. All these earthquakes are aftershock of a 7.2, 7.4 earthquake that struck this area 3 weeks ago. Okay, that's what's going on. That's what's happening, guys. I appreciate everyone that's been here. One of my dearest friends, Linda Covington, who was in hospice care, is now getting better. I got a note from her sister saying she was getting stronger. And I love hearing that. Linda, we're thankful that you're here. We are very thankful you're here. You are an answer to our prayers. We appreciate you ever so much. Linda Covington has been a dear friend of ours for a very long time, and we appreciate her. Ray now says, yeah, he is so awesome. Absolutely. God is awesome. I love it when he hears and answers our prayers. I really do. I'm thrilled. I get goosebumps. Our God is an awesome God. Friends and neighbors, it's already 8:40 p.m. here, almost 8:45 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'm going to let you go here, but before I do, I'm just going to share a quick thought with you. I share these thoughts with you because of my love for the Savior. Tremendous is our ability and opportunity to reach beyond the hoped-for goal of wealth and worldly success, to build and strengthen others, to relieve suffering, and to aid in making the world a better place. Because we are a light unto the world. Tremendous is also our potential for leading out and standing up. Standing up in every arena of our lives for the virtues that will make our individual lives and our families and our society strong and vibrant. No nation can rise above the strength of its homes or the virtue of its people. The time has come for good people everywhere to demonstrate that they stand for something that is virtuous and clean and worthwhile. To that end, may we move forward with faith in the Almighty God and with a determination to live virtuous lives and return to our society the element of goodness on which it was founded. May God bless us to that end. To stand for something. Stand up and tell the truth like we have tonight. Stand up and tell the truth. That is all we've ever talked about on this channel. Standing up and telling the truth. Everyone deserves to hear it. Everyone deserves to hear it and know it. We need to stand for something. We need to stand up and be counted. May God bless us this night and always. I care for all of you. I love you. I truly do. May God bless us to heal our nations, heal our lives, and heal our families. Jen R., thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. May God be with us every day. May God be with us until we can meet again. We'll see you on the other side. If something else happens tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Usually we take Saturdays off. With this new information from Geology Hub, we may come back on the air tomorrow morning and talk about it. Usually we take Saturdays off, but we will be back here on Sunday morning at between 12 and 12:30 Eastern Time for a Sunday school class that we call Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. I would be thrilled to have you join us, all of us, on Sunday morning with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. It'll be a thrill to have you with us. God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Take care.